Hi, my name is Max, and I'm a survivor of satanic ritual abuse, torture, and child sex trafficking among the elite. I want to share my story in brief today because as I speak to you right now, millions of children on this planet are enduring the same thing that I'm about to share with you. And we need to really know what's happened to some of us and what's still happening so that we can put an end to the harvesting of children of this planet. I grew up in a diplomatic family. My grandfathers were ambassadors. I moved from country to country. I lived in a variety of places. And my main perpetrator was my Italian uncle. He ran a secret facility on the outskirts of Rome that's underground. And it is one of those facilities where they engage in experiments and torture. I was taken there throughout my life from birth up to age 18 and put through torture. And when I say torture, I mean things like electric shock, being buried alive with dead bodies, rape, beatings, being put in cages without food or water for days on end, being forced to witness the torture and killing of animals and people, being locked in these giant freezers with dead bodies for days at a time, and being experimented on in a variety of ways, including MK Ultra and attempts to program me, which failed. These kinds of facilities, I want to point out, exist all over the world in secret, and this is being done to many, many children, even as we speak. My uncle's facility was connected to the Vatican by an underground tunnel. There was a train that went between the two, and I was taken to that part of the Vatican, which is way, way below the surface. And I witnessed child sacrifice. In one of these rooms, they had a giant marble altar and would bring in babies and toddlers and small children and lay them on the altar and take a special knife and cut them from here down while they were alive. And the blood would go down the sides of the altar and drain into these chalices that they had at the four corners. And then they would take these chalices full of blood and drink it and share it around. And around the altar would be a variety of elites, of VIPs, whether they would be mafia or government or Vatican or actors and actresses or other, sort of VIP people who would participate in this ritual. And during the ritual, they would do this as homage to Lucifer and to invite demonic entities to inhabit some of these people that were in attendance so that they would gain more worldly power and wealth and fame. I was also trafficked among these elites, so given away for days at a time to different people. And I was also put through satanic rituals. And so some of these would be when I was a teenager. I was taken to the woods at night with a big bonfire and cages of animals near the bonfire. I was drugged with something that paralyzed me completely. I was unable to even speak, but I was conscious and could feel everything. And I was laid down near the fire and was gang raped by 50 or 100 men. And every rape, a live animal would be thrown into the fire, so I would hear the screaming and smell the burning flesh. I became impregnated from some of these rapes and trafficking, and I was put through ritualized abortions where I would be allowed to go almost to term in the pregnancy. And one such ritual involved my uncle taking me to the house of the doctor that worked with him, that experimented on me. And he had a courtyard, and it was Easter, and I was brought out naked and pregnant. And my palms, my hands were nailed to a fig tree. My family was made to, my mother and siblings and aunts were made to have lunch at an outdoor table on the courtyard while I was nailed to the tree, and they attached electrodes to my breasts and genitals and shocked me repeatedly. And then I was taken down from that and brought inside and put into a bathtub full of freezing water. I was given an injection by the doctor prior to being put in the bathtub, and then I was handcuffed to the two faucets. And within a few minutes, I felt, a lot of pain and blood. And then I was able to free one hand just as a tiny baby floated up, and I scooped the baby out of the water, and we made eye contact for a few seconds before he died. Other rituals that I was put through involved being taken to these elite parties. So some of them would be black tie in these beautiful apartments or mansions. And I and other children would be brought in there, dressed up, and given to whoever, pedophile will they like to choose certain gender or age or sex, or race. So some of these parties, elite parties, were held on grounds, and in those we would be stripped naked and told to go hide, and we would be hunted. At one such party, I witnessed them taking two babies and impaling them on this very long sword. So putting the two on the sword and swinging it around and laughing and drinking. And at the end of the evening, a child would be sacrificed and cooked and eaten. And I want to emphasize that these elites, they were enjoying these activities. They were drinking, they were taking drugs, they were laughing. They are psychopaths, they are pedophiles, and they are Satanists. And this is what they do to millions of children, even currently around the world. So it is vital for us to share our stories and to speak out, because if these people work on secrecy and deception, so that's why I'm using my voice to tell my story, because I want everyone to know that this happens, this is real, this was done to me, and this was done to many of my friends who are SRA survivors, and this is still being done to children today. I think we can all see right now in 2023 that these elites are attempting through the UN and the WHO to normalize pedophilia. They're sexualizing children. This is something that is part of their culture and what they want. And they are parasites, and they feed off our life force energy. They feed off our income. And they particularly target children because children are the closest thing to God. And so we need to be aware that the entire human race is actually being done to the way I was done to. In terms of MK Ultra, this is done on the whole human population through the educational system, through the media, through the pharmaceuticals that are forced on people. And it's important that we understand that what they've done to me as an individual and to other survivors is being done to the collective. There have been satanic rituals done on the population in the form of COVID and 9/11 and this climate change thing. And so they know that trauma fragments us. And when something is very intense and traumatic, the psyche splits it off and has amnesia for it to survive, to go forward. So it is very important to do one's healing work. I did this, and I integrated myself, and I released all the memories and the emotions, because when we heal, we put ourselves back together, we can step into our power. And then that, along with knowing the truth of what is going on out there, means that we can step into our full potential, we can unite, and we can end the global rule of these elite psychopaths and what they're doing to our children and indeed to all of us in humanity. So thank you for listening to my story. And please understand and know that this is happening. That's the first step to us ending these practices that occur here on this planet all too often. Thank you for listening.